Hello and welcome to how to make oven roasted tomatoes. Now this process is very easy and it's a great way to sort of preserve tomatoes but also have them take on a different flavor and some different cooking properties. Today we're going to be using two varieties of cherry tomatoes. You can use Roma tomatoes. The Roma tomatoes will take longer in the oven, but cherry and grape tomatoes will work just fine. So what we're going to do first is take our tomatoes and soak them in water. Alright, so you just want to let them kind of mosey around in there, and that will remove any dirt and surface dirt that will be on the tomatoes. Also, the longer you let them soak, the more of the grime that will come off the skin, because a lot of pesticides are oil based, so it's like really difficult to just get them off by washing. So soaking is a good thing to do for your tomatoes. These are organic, so I don't have to worry so much about it, but I'm going to do this anyway. And then all we have to do is cut each one of these in half. So for each tomato, you want to cut it along the long direction, not the fatter direction, so that what's cooking isn't as thick as it would be otherwise. You basically want the thickness to be minimal, so when we cut it the long way, that's exactly what happens. And do that for all of your tomatoes. And for each tomato, we are going to take them and put them on basically just a sheet tray that has some foil down. Another alternative is to have a cooling rack on the tray and putting the tomatoes on the cooling rack. So we'll get all of our tomatoes cut that way. And now they are ready for some salt and pepper. All you have to do is use a salt and pepper shaker. Get one here. And just lightly coat all of the upturned faces. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. The salt will help draw out some of the moisture as they're in the oven. And the pepper will just give it a little bit of flavor. So at this point you can also use, any other flavorings that you enjoy. If you want to add a specific spice or dried herb, you could even do that. But for the most part, salt and pepper will do just fine. And then we're ready to put it in the oven. And what I would do, turn it to about 200 degrees, and then go ahead and just put the tray in. You don't even have to wait for the oven to heat up because it's going to be a slow cooking process. So we've got that in there, and I will set my timer for about an hour. And you want to set your timer for an hour each time, and then just check your tomatoes and see how they're doing. Okay, here we are after 1 hour. You can see that the tomatoes are starting to pucker and dry out a little bit. Nothing too dramatic. You can just kind of see the edges there losing moisture, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want anything really to cook too much, and we just want them to slowly concentrate their flavor. So 1 hour down. Okay, this is hour 2 in the oven at 200 degrees. Getting even more puckery, losing even more moisture, and becoming even more flavorful. Here we are after hour number 3, getting very close to where we want them to be. Some of them are almost there. And you'll see that the smaller ones will be ready faster, and it's fine if they go a little bit longer too. But we're going to keep them in for, I think, maybe 1 more hour. Okay, hour number 4, and it looks like we are just about there. You can see that almost all of the moisture has disappeared from these guys. They are going to be very flavorful, kind of chewy texture, very much like a sun-dried tomato. You can let them go a little bit longer depending on your taste. And I'm guessing that a bigger tomato would take longer, like a Roma tomato, or anything bigger than a cherry. But obviously the same kind of procedure will work.
and enjoy your tomatoes. Thanks.